Hi, this is Anita. I'm a .NET trainer. I'm having 7 years of experience in development as well as in training. So today I'm going to cover the topic is Introduction to .NET. In Introduction to .NET, how the code execution process is going on in normal programming languages, and what is platform and what is platform independent, platform dependency, and how the code execution process is going on in Java, and code execution in .NET. So everything I will cover today. First, we'll see what is Introduction to .NET. .NET is the full form of .NET is Network Enabled Technologies. Network Enabled Technologies. So .NET is not a programming language. It is a framework tool which supports many programming languages. It is a framework tool which supports many programming languages. Suppose if you say C, C++, Java, these are all programming languages. Whereas .NET, it is not a programming language. It is a framework tool. It supports many programming languages. In 61 programming languages, 9 are designed by Microsoft and 52 are designed by non-Microsoft. In 61 programming languages, 9 are designed by Microsoft and 52 programming languages are designed by non-Microsoft. The 9 program languages are designed by Microsoft is C#.NET, VB.NET, J#.NET, JavaScript.NET, C++, F#.NET, Windows PowerShell, Iron, Python. So the remaining languages are like JavaScript, Lexical, Lisp, Logo, Mercury, Pan, Pascal, Perl, PHP, Processing, Prolog, Python. These are all remaining programming languages. Whereas we have to concentrate only on the Microsoft programming language because the .NET is a Microsoft product. So these languages are called C#.NET, VB.NET, J#.NET, JavaScript.NET, C++, F#.NET, Windows PowerShell, and Iron, Python. In these all these programming languages, Iron, Python, another one, last one is Iron, Ruby. In all these languages, C# is the most powerful programming language. So in every software company, C#.NET or VB.NET, in C# and VB.NET, the C# is the most powerful programming language. In .NET, we have a ASP.NET. ASP.NET is not a programming language. It is a web technology or a server-side technology. In ASP.NET, code can be written using VB.NET or C#.NET or J#.NET. Using .NET framework, we can develop two types of applications. One is Windows application, another one is web application. Windows application means the application which can be run only in one machine. Windows application means the application which can be run only in one machine. That application is called Windows application. Whereas web application is the application can be run in any computer, in any place, in anywhere, if the internet is available. So that is called web applications. Like web applications are like Gmail application, Gmail, Google, Yahoo, internet. All the internet applications are called web applications. So if you are using some application only in our system, that cannot be executed in other system. Means for example, if you take some shopping mall. In shopping mall, in a billing counter, some software is there. That software is dedicated to that shopping mall only. That software will not be used for other clients. That software is called Windows application. Means that software will be executed only in that billing counter machine. So if you want to execute that application in other machine, we have to take that application and install it and execute it. Whereas Windows application, the Windows application is installed in server. Each and every client sends a request to the server. It gets the response from the server and can be executed in anywhere, any place, any computer, if the internet is available. That application is called web applications. .NET is a framework tool. It is not a programming language, and also we can call it as a technology which supports many programming languages. So .NET supports total 61 programming languages. In 61 programming languages, 9 are designed by Microsoft and 52 are designed by non-Microsoft. In all these programming languages, the most powerful programming languages are called C#.NET and VB.NET. Most of the companies prefer C# programmers or VB programmers. In both of the C# and VB, C# is the most powerful programming language. And it is very easy to learn because it is a family of C, C++, Java. If you know the basic language like C, C++, so it is very easy to learn C# language because every concept is same. What we are learning in C language, what we are learning in C++, that concept is there in C#.NET. For example, if you say, example is like, what is the difference between technology and programming language? For example, I want to go to some place. I don't know how to go there. I want to go to some place by car. I don't know how to go there. I want to take help from my friend to go there. He will guide me how to go there. Means here, my friend is a technology and me is a programming language. Means technology will give the guidelines to a programming language how to write the code in .NET. Technology will give the guidelines to a programming language how to write the program in .NET. Means in technology, we have a predefined classes, predefined methods. By using the predefined classes, predefined methods, predefined class libraries, we are developing the programming in C# by using C# programming language in .NET. That predefined classes, class libraries was developed by Microsoft because .NET is a Microsoft product. We'll see how the code execution process is going on in normal programming languages like C, C++, COBOL, etc. The initial programming language is called source code. In this programming languages, first the language compiler will convert the source code and generates the native code. The initial program is called source code. So in every programming language compiler is there. Language compiler will convert the source code and generates the native code. In general, at the time of compilation, language compiler will consider two factors. One is CPU architecture and another one is operating system architecture. So native code will be generated in such a way that it should be understood by the current processor and the operating system in which the code is being compiled and run. In normal programming languages, language compiler will convert the source code and generates the native code. In general, at the time of compilation, language compiler will consider two factors. The two factors are every system has a processor and every system has an operating system. So at the time of compilation, language compiler will consider these two factors like processor architecture and operating system architecture. So depending upon the processor, depending upon the operating system, native code will be generated. Native code will be generated in such a way that it should be understood by the current processor and the operating system in which the code is being compiled and run. So what is platform? Platform is a combination of CPU architecture and operating system architecture. Platform means it is a combination of CPU architecture and operating system architecture. So what is platform dependency? Code that has been generated by the language compilation does not run or execute on a different processor and in different operating system than which it has been compiled. This nature is known as platform dependency. Means that native code will not be executed in any system. That native code will be executed only in that system which we have developed. Means that is called platform dependency. The platform dependency nature is there in normal programming languages like C, C++, COBOL, etc. So by using C, C++, COBOL, we are generating some native code. That native code will not be executed in any machine. That can be executed only in that machine which we have developed. Here platform means it is a combination of CPU architecture and operating system architecture. Whereas platform dependency means the code that has been generated by the language compiler, compilation does not execute on a different processor and in different operating system than which it has been compiled. This nature is known as platform dependency. And we'll see what is platform independency. Platform independency means if the code generated by language compiler compilation runs on any processor and in any operating system than which it has been compiled, then it is known as platform independent. Means it is a reverse of platform dependency. In platform dependency, the native code cannot be executed in other machine, whereas in platform independency, we can execute the native code in any machine, in any processor, in any operating system. The code generated by language compiler compilation runs on any processor in any operating system than which it has been compiled, then it is known as platform independent. Here we have three terms. One is platform, platform dependency, and platform independency. Platform means is a combination of CPU architecture and OS architecture. Whereas platform dependency means the code generated by language compiler compilation does not runs on any processor and any operating system that which has been compiled. That is called platform independent. Whereas platform dependency means the code generated by language compiler compilation runs on any processor and any operating system. That is known as platform independent. First, we'll see how the code execution is going on in Java. Code execution in Java. So in Java source code, we have a source code. In a program language, the initial programming is called source code. In Java source code is compiled by Java language compiler. In Java, we have a Java language compiler. In C, we have a C language compiler. In C++, we have a C++ language compiler. Means compiler will check the errors. After finish writing the program, we need to check the errors. So compiler will check the errors. In Java also, the Java source code is compiled by Java language compiler, and then intermediately code is generated. That is known as bytecode. Means we have a source code. There is intermediate code is generated. That is bytecode. Who converted? Java language compiler will convert. Java language compiler will convert source code to bytecode. This bytecode is platform independent. This bytecode is platform independent, which can be executed on any machine. Which can be executed on any machine and in any operating system where JVM is available. Means in Java, mainly we are using to develop the web application. In web application, we have a client and server architecture. Means we have a one server and different clients. One server and different clients. And so on. Means in server system, the application is available. Application is available. Means for example, Gmail application is available in the server. For each and every client, if a client want to execute the Gmail application, so the client sends the request to the server. Means client 1 is sending a request to the server. When a client sends a request to the server, in server we have a bytecode. This bytecode is error-free program. This bytecode is error-free program. It does not have any errors. So this server receives the request and sends this bytecode to the client. The server sends the bytecode to the client again. In client machine, this bytecode will be executed and generates a native code. In client machine, the bytecode will be executed in client machine and it generates a native code. This native code is .exe file. So this native code is a generates an output to the user. That is called web page. This output is called web page. That is home web page. So the first code is called source code. This source code is compiled by Java language compiler and converts the bytecode. In the second time, in client machine, the bytecode is converted by the JVM and converts a native code. This bytecode is a platform independent. This bytecode is platform independent, which can be executed on any machine and in any operating system where JVM is available. Because in client machine, bytecode is converted into native code. Who converts? JVM converts. So that the JVM must and should be available in the client machine. Here JVM means Java Virtual Machine. Java Virtual Machine. Here JVM is not a hardware component, it is a software component. It is a software component. It is a software component. So Sun company designed separate JVM for each and every operating system so that bytecode is able to run in any operating system. Means in every client machine there is a JVM is available. How it gets? When we install the operating system, each and every operating system, there is a built-in JVM software is there. When we installing the operating system in our system, the JVM is also installed automatically. If there is no JVM compatible for any operating system, so that bytecode cannot be run in that operating system. For each and every system, we can run the web application. That applications may be developed by using Java language or some other language. But it must and should be executed. How it is executed? Because there is an inbuilt JVM software is available in operating system, each and every operating system. That may be Windows operating system, that may be Mac OS, that may be Linux, any operating system. So when we install the operating system in our machine, the JVM is installed automatically. Simple. So in code execution in Java, we have a compilation is in two parts. One is source code to bytecode, another one is bytecode to native code. Source code can be converted by the Java language compiler and generates an intermediate language, that is bytecode. Whereas bytecode to native code, JVM converts. So bytecode is an error-free program that is available in the server system. When the client sends a request to the server sends the bytecode to the client machine. In client machine, bytecode converts into native code and generates an output to the user. That output is a web page. Next, how the code execution is process going on in .NET. code execution process is going on in .NET. In .NET, the .NET code is compiled twice. In .NET also, the .NET code is compiled twice. In first compilation, the source code is compiled by respective language compiler and an intermediate code is generated that is known as MSIL. Why I am saying respective language compiler means in .NET we can use so many programming languages to develop one application. To develop one application, we can use so many programming languages. The programming languages may be C#, F#, J#. We can use any programming language to develop one application. Means one application contains 10 web pages. So I'm dividing all these 10 web pages into two, and I want to give to different people of one group. So all the programmers knows different programming languages. Means one programmer knows C#, one programmer knows F#, one programmer knows J#. So I'm giving two web pages to that programmers. So that programmers is developing the application by using their own programming languages. After finishing the development, at last we need to integrate all the web pages in one application. Means in .NET we can use so many programming languages to develop one application. Means so in .NET we have a source code, we have a respective language compiler and converts the MSIL code. In first compilation, source code is compiled by respective language compiler and an intermediate code is generated that is known as MSIL. Here MSIL means Microsoft Intermediate Programming Language. MSIL means Microsoft Intermediate Language. In the second compilation, MSIL is converted into native code. Who converts? The CLR. CLR converts MSIL into native code. Here MSIL is same like bytecode. This is a error-free program. When the client sends the request to the server, client sends the request to the server. Server gives the response, that is server sends to the client is MSIL code. This MSIL code will be executed on the client machine and generates a native code. The response is MSIL code. So the native code will be executed on an operating system. That output is a web page. The source code may be in different programming languages. Like suppose one source code, one program is in C# and another source code is like F#. Likewise, we can use so many programming languages, J#. But at last, after compilation, the compilation language compiler means each and every programming language has a separate language compilers. Like C# has a separate language compiler, whereas F# is a separate language compiler, J# has a separate language compiler. After source code to MSIL, we have a single MSIL code. After compilation by the respective language compiler, there is an intermediate code is generated that is known as MSIL. This MSIL code contains common code. This common code can be understood by the CLR and generates the native code. CLR means Common Language Runtime. Common Language Runtime. Here, always the first compilation is slow and second compilation is fast, because in the first compilation only we have to check the errors. That's why the compilation is very slow. In the second compilation, the compilation is very fast. And remember one thing, MSIL is only CPU independent and will run only on Windows OS, only using .NET Framework. Means in .NET we have a .NET Framework tool. Means when we install the .NET software, it installs two parts. One is Framework and other one is Visual Studio. One is Framework and other one is Visual Studio. We'll see what's the difference between Framework and Visual Studio. Here, MSIL is only CPU independent. MSIL is only CPU independent and will run only on Windows OS. This MSIL code is only CPU independent and will run only on Windows OS. Windows OS only using .NET Framework. If you use the .NET Framework, it will execute only in Windows OS. Because .NET in a first time when the Microsoft developed the version of first version of .NET Framework, it designed for Windows operating system only. .NET Framework is designed for Windows operating system only. So after that, there is a technology, lots of technologies is improvement. So there is a drawback in .NET because it executes only in Windows OS. That is a main drawback. To avoid that drawback, there is another company known as Novell designed separate framework that is known as Mono Framework. Novell company designed separate framework known by Mono Framework. Mono Framework. Using this framework, we can run MSIL on any operating system. Using this framework, we can run .NET application in any operating system. The difference is, if we use the .NET framework, we can run the .NET application in Windows OS only. If we use the Mono framework, we can run the .NET application in any OS. That's it. So at last we can say that .NET is a platform dependent using .NET framework, but independent using Mono framework. Mono framework is designed by the Novell company. In this way, the code execution process is going on in .NET. Here in .NET, source code means code that has been written in any programming language supported by .NET. So every programming language has its own compiler. So code might have been written in any programming language and is compiled by any language compiler code will come into a common form, that is MSIL code. So this MSIL code can be converted into native code by the CLR. At last, native code will be executed by the operating system and generates an output. That output is called a web page. So still now we have discussed what is .NET, how the code execution process is going on, in normal programming languages, and what is platform dependent, and what is platform independent, and how the code execution is going on in Java, and how the code execution is going on in .NET. All these are completed. Now we'll see what is the difference between Framework and Visual Studio. I already told you, said to you, when we install the .NET software, it installs two parts. One is Framework and other one is Visual Studio. What is this? What is the difference between this? First, we'll see what is .NET Framework. .NET Framework is a runtime environment. It is a runtime environment of .NET programs. .NET Framework is a runtime environment of .NET programs. .NET Framework is core for complete .NET. Without Framework, there is no .NET. Without Framework, there is no .NET. .NET Framework is completely free software and can be downloaded from Microsoft site, install and use it. .NET Framework is completely free software and can be downloaded from Microsoft site, install and use it. Normally everything is free because we are using piracy softwares. I'm talking about the genuine softwares. So .NET Framework is a genuine software. We can install, we can download it. It is a free software. We can be downloaded from Microsoft site. So .NET is a execution or runtime environment of .NET programs or application. Without Framework, there is no .NET. Whereas Visual Studio, what is Visual Studio? Visual Studio is just an editor tool. It is just like a notepad. It is used to write the .NET code or develop applications using .NET Framework. Without Visual Studio also we can write the programs in notepad. But without Framework we cannot execute the program. Without Visual Studio we can develop the programs by using notepad. But we have to remember each and every class library, each and every method and classes. That's it. But without Framework, we cannot execute the program. We cannot run the program. Because the complete .NET programs depend upon the Framework. After finishing writing in the Visual Studio notepad, the .NET Framework will execute and generates and gives the output to the user. Visual Studio .NET is most powerful and flexible editor to the programmer because we can develop the application, we can develop the program by using notepad also. But in notepad, we have to remember everything like class libraries. Inside the class libraries, some classes are there. Inside the class, thousands, hundreds of methods are there. In the methods, predefined code is there. We can use that methods, everything ready-madely. In notepad also we can use, but we have to remember and we have to type everything. But in Visual Studio, when we write the class libraries, the classes contained in that class libraries will show you. No need to remember everything. It is a flexible editor tool. Means it provides a rapid application development facilities. No need to remember everything. We have a toolbox in Visual Studio, we have a solution explorer, we have a properties. The toolbox contains so many controls. We can drag and drop, That much of flexibility is there in Visual Studio Notepad. Here, Visual Studio is not a free software and is licensed software to use it. It is required to purchase the license from Microsoft. The code is written using Visual Studio. It will be executed using .NET Framework only. The difference is code is written using Visual Studio .NET. It will be executed using .NET Framework only. Means here .NET Framework is a runtime environment of .NET programs, whereas Visual Studio is designing or developing environment of .NET programs or applications. .NET Framework is a free software, whereas Visual Studio is not a free software. So we have a lot of versions in .NET Framework is .NET Framework 1.0. This 1.0 version was released on 2002. Same like 1.1 we have. This 1.1 is 2003. Same like we have 2.0. 2.0 released on November 2005. And 3.0. 3.0 is released in 2006. Next 3.5. 3.5 is 2007. Same like 4.0. 4.0 is 2009. 4.5 we have. And also we have 5.0. The current version is 5.0. Whereas in Visual Studio versions is different. Like Visual Studio 2000, Visual Studio .NET, VS.NET 2000. This is the version name. This is released on Jan 15, 2002. And we have a Visual Studio 2003. VS.NET 2003. It was released on 2003. And Visual Studio .NET 2005. It was released on 2005. Same like we have a 2008, 2010, 2012. Now the present version is 2013. The compatibility of OS is Windows XP, 2000, 2003, Vista, Windows 7, everything. Everything will be compatible. If you use the .NET Framework, so which will be executed only in the Windows OS. If you use the Mono Framework, it will execute in any machine. So I have explained everything, like I have explained what is .NET and how the code execution process is going on, normal programming, what is platform independent, what is platform dependent, and how the code execution process is going on in .NET and how the code execution process is going on in Java, and what is the difference between Framework and Visual Studio. That's all for today. So in the next class, I will teach what are the components of .NET Framework. What are the components is there in .NET Framework, like CLR, CLR, CLS, CTS, and GC, JIT, BCL, everything. After completion of the theoretical concept, I will explain the console application programs. In this console application programs, I will cover all the concepts. All the concepts like class, object-oriented programming, inheritance, polymorphism. Everything I will cover, abstract, interface, everything I will cover. After console application, Windows application. I will teach Windows application. After that, ASP.NET. In ASP.NET, I will cover how to do the web application. At the time of teaching Windows application, I will teach you how to do the project, how to do Windows project. I will give you some Windows project and I will give you some assignments to you. So you can do the project on your own, Windows application project. While teaching the ASP.NET, I will cover all the concepts. In that, while teaching the ASP.NET, I will give you one project, then web application, how to do the web application. In that web application, I will cover all the concepts, like real-time scenarios. In real time, how to do the how in real time we can do the project. Same, like I will give you everything. In ASP.NET, I will cover one web application, one project, web project. In Windows application also one Windows project. After console application, I teach ADO.NET. After finishing this ADO.NET only, I will give you one Windows project. After that, when teaching the ASP.NET, I will give you one web project. After finishing this, I will go advanced technologies, like advanced technologies like web services. I will cover web services, WCF, Ajax, MVC, link, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, everything, and the most important is SQL Server also. In SQL Server, everything I will cover, like DDL commands, GML, and DCL, TCL, DRL, and store procedures. Triggers, views, cursors, indexes, etc. I will cover everything. At last, after finishing my training, at the end of the day, I'm sure about you will do the project on your own without depending on others. I will cover all the concepts, but you have to do hard work. From these days, the training days, you have to do hard work at least per day, 4 hours if you do practice, 4 hours if you do what I'm giving the task, if you do at the end every day in time, so you will get the job definitely in .NET as a .NET programmer. And I will give you the interview tips, like if the interviewer asks with some question, how to give the answer about that question. In the training period, I will give you the notes, examples, homework. So after finishing this console application and ADO.NET, I will give you some real-time tasks and one Windows project and one web project and SQL Server queries. That's it. So that's all for today. Thank you very much. Bye.